Yo, yo, Tony D here. I have a treat for you. I got a copy of Daredevil 191. Classic. Very classic. I think the cover really sums it up. How does a man search for his own soul? I believe this story is him doing that. To give you some context, this is the last issue of Frank Miller's first run on Daredevil. This caps it off. So leading up to this is a lot of drama, a lot of heartache, torture. I'm trying to collect it all. It's expensive. But this one right here, anyone can get it, I think. It's not that much for a fine copy. But it's called Roulette. And it is a masterpiece. The first thing I really notice is the interesting use of, there's a lot of different angles and there's a lot of use of negative space and just simple, very simple stuff. But the angles are interesting. It's Frank Miller can draw. So it starts off, he's describing what he has there and he's playing roulette. So you see what I mean by the angles? It's all over. Negative space, incredible use. So Bullseye he's incapacitated in a bed and Daredevil shows up. And one thing I noticed, and let me know if you have a different viewpoint on this, I don't think Daredevil is talking to Bullseye. I think this is inner monologue. And I think you can look at it both ways, but you never see a word bubble. I think he's just in his mind. So he's talking to our guy, second round. He's not playing. It's a serious thing. That's what I mean by the negative space. So he has a story to tell him. And the story is very interesting. Our guy Daredevil makes 3 mistakes with this kid, and I'll point them out as he makes them, but they're real apparent. And Daredevil's also telling this story from 2 sides, his Matt Murdock side and his Daredevil side. So there's a push-pull relationship there. That's kind of the struggle of the soul, finding your soul in what you're doing. He goes to his client's house. This kid does nothing but watch that, and his father pretty much lays it out that it's probably an unhealthy obsession, the most that he does it. And the kid tells him he's Daredevil at the dinner table. And another interesting thing I noticed, I don't know if this is on purpose, but I think Frank Miller, see the pattern on the guy's sweater? It's like a heartbeat, what Daredevil would read on someone if they're lying. Or I thought that was on purpose. Just, I don't know what reason, but it's there. So at the dinner table, we find this guy he's really mean with his kid, I think. He's down talking him. And this is just fantastic. The more he down talks him, look how small he gets. He's making him feel small. I just noticed that. Wow. Frank Miller, you're not going to get any better than Frank Miller. But anyways, so yeah, this kid I am Daredevil. And is this a kid? And he's wondering that, and his dad gets on to him, and I love how they do the silhouette parts. And he just wants to go to his room and see how he shrinks. He's just belittling him. And this was interesting too, just for no reason, this guy shows him his gun. And he's doing his Daredevil stuff. He's listening to his heartbeat. So Daredevil gets it in his head after seeing this belittling, dressing that kid down. He's being made fun of at school. And he's just trying to play, hey, you're Black Widow, I'm Daredevil. But yeah, you see their shadows. But our guy Daredevil shows up. That's his first mistake right there. He makes a mistake of indulging in this kid's fantasy. his intentions are good, right? But you can see in his face, he knows he screwed up. I just made this worse. It's a deadly sin, right? Pride. That's what's going on here. And I thought it interesting how the game progressed fast. Boom, boom. And he's still talking to Daredevil. He's going through the whole, he's explaining to Daredevil how being the kid's idol felt good. But he also describes how just getting into it raises questions. Now, here's the thing. I don't think he's telling Bullseye that. I think he's thinking it. So he goes back to the house. He's going to check things out, and he finds Chucky hiding out. He's full Daredevil mode now. After that, how could you not be? And he actually has some information on some dirt his father's doing, and he's going to find out what's up because he is a Daredevil now, at least in the fan club, right? Second mistake, he acts on the information quickly that the kid gives him, but he doesn't make sure that the kid is safe. He's being irresponsible. So the kid jumps on his dad's car. That's mistake number 2. And it's funny how he does that, and then you get to this moving fast. Look at the close-up shot. The panel work, love panel work. Now, you know where we're at, right? That's the last one. So this is where he's going to make mistake number 3, in my viewpoint. He's using his powers, and come to find out, the father is doing some dirt, blackmail, and the kid jumps out, and he looks, and he sees his father, and he catches his father doing a crime. And he's so in his fantasy world, it's going to break him. So that is from the second mistake, letting the kid be in this situation. He should have secured the kid, then went. And it's making him angry. Another sin, anger. I guess you could say not taking care of the kid first is sloth. I don't know. The deadly sins are evident, right? Pride, especially. And Daredevil's sick of this dude. He gives him a quick, knocks him out, and just beautiful work here. The eyes, look at the eye. You could tell he's damaged. Mistake number 3. You could almost say these mistakes are like roulette. So the kid is just, he is traumatized. There's mental issues for sure. And Matt Murdock is visiting, the father's in jail. And all the kid does is watch the video of Daredevil fighting Bullseye. So he's convinced his father's bad, or Daredevil wouldn't have hit him. That's the problem. And he mentions, if Papa's bad, I'm bad, because he's a kid. That's how kids think. There's a real simplicity to kids that can be beautiful sometimes and funny, but it's serious when you're getting into stuff like this. I still think that's inner monologue. I don't think he's saying a word to him. Because think about it. Everything, if you've read the previous issues or you have knowledge of them, this is nothing but torture that he's put on him. Putting Elektra 6 feet under. There's even a scene where Daredevil doesn't believe it and he digs her body up and hugs her. It's traumatic. So hopefully I'm doing a little bit of justice describing that to just give you the gravity of this scene, because in his mind, yeah, it could happen. And another interesting point, this back in the 80s, this is early 80s stuff where that character could go away believably. It was just an introduction. There's no legacy yet. So I really thought somebody was going to get it. I really did, because Frank Miller creates a tension and he leads you, and you're flipping there's no other book that has done this to me where I flip the page and I just keep going. You're not going to read a little part of this and put it down. You're in it for the ride. I'm telling you, if you have not read this, you need to read it. So he's at school. Sorry about the sidebar rant there, but you got to get it. And he believes he's bad, and he shoots a kid that's messing with him. And it was the same type right there. And then he really starts talking about when Chucky did that, was he his father? Or was he Bullseye? Or was he Daredevil? So you have three elements going on. The kid's confused. Who is he now when he did that act? And you don't know because he's not talking to anybody. What would be cool is to have a psychologist review this. That would be awesome. I think I can make that happen. So he keeps Daredevils, he keeps running it through his mind. Is he actually showing people that good wins out? Or is it always on the way? Or is he showing them just somebody that's fast enough, strong enough, can get away with being a hero? Is he teaching people violence? Or is he fighting violence? There's a conflict there. And maybe all the blame rests with creatures. He mentions Bullseye and Jurgens, the father, if he had a father like his. And this is where things get really, I think this is the turn for Daredevil's soul, is he talks about his father and how great he was as a man. Even in the twilight of his career, he wouldn't throw a fight. He had pride, and he always took care of Matt as a child. And he's reflecting on that. His father wanted him to be a lawyer. This is very important while he's being made fun of. And this is interesting. There's that pattern again on the shirt. Is that just tying in the start and the end that I talk about so much? I don't know. Frank Miller doesn't do things on accident. So they're ripping up one of his expensive books and he loses it. He lets him have it and he comes home. His dad was drinking and he's bragging about the violence he put on the kids, and his father's shocked. He gives him probably the most important lesson you could give. And I'm not saying that should happen, but it's a comic book. The impact is there. He doesn't want him to be him. He wants him to be something else. And then that is when he made the decision to be a lawyer. So it's a very pivotal, dramatic role growing up. And this is fantastic. The panel work, love panel work. And also just the tension. Because when I first read it, I was like, he could really do this. This was where he went from the swashbuckling scarlet hero that he was to this is when Daredevil was defined as a dark hero. So the very end here, extraordinary use of negative space, simplicity. Simplicity is the essence of all beauty. Had no bullets, and he mentions that they're stuck with each other, and I still think it's inner monologue. Let me know. This probably my favorite comic is right here, right now. I'm going to say a fine copy, which is what you want because you're going to read it over and over. Probably $8-ish, $8 maybe, $9. It's totally worth. I would pay $20 for it if it was 20. I really mean it sincerely. You have to get on this. Later.